Hello, everyone. I'm Allison, and welcome to my weekly meltdowns coverage of Interview with the Vampire, season 1, the TV show. Um, Sorry, guys, I got a little bit of a late start, but something more important came up, and no one's watching right now, so it's totally fine. I don't care. Uh, anyway, no, you guys are here with me. We're in this together, whether you watch live or not. I love you. I appreciate you. And I thank you so much for participating. I tried to do like the 90s kind of goth look, and it's much. It's a bit much. I already know. So you don't have to point it out. I get it. Okay. Jesus, it was like I was telling Beth earlier, I have so much glitter on my eyes and in my eyes. It's like I'm watching a fuzzy TV, like looking at the screens like fuzzy TV. People with old style rabbit ear TVs will get that reference. Anyway, so tomorrow night, May 12th, 2024, is the premiere of Interview with the Vampire season 2 on AMC. And I'm really excited about it. It's been a while since season 1 debuted in, I believe it was October of 2022. Yes, it was October 2022. And like many others, a lot of people don't know, I am actually 47, and I was 17 30 years ago when the original film with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt came out. And that was kind of there's a big heavy goth era during my time in high school, and it was very, when I was in high school, they didn't really refer to you as a goth, and I don't know if this is a Southern thing, but they called you freaks. You were a freak if you were goth. So I didn't really hear a lot about goth until later in life, but yeah, that's what it was. So Interview with the Vampire, The Crow, all of these, early mid 90s films kind of shaped a lot of the goth era in the 90s for some of us Gen Xers. So, Interview with the Vampire is based on the 1976 Anne Rice book. Interview with the Vampire takes place in New Orleans. I want to apologize. I read this book 32 years ago. I did not reread it to refresh my brain for this show. I think there's 15. This was part of the universe. If you're into the Immortal universe on AMC, it comes from the Anne Rice Vampire Chronicles, which also bore the Mayfair Witches and all of that fun stuff, which is I really enjoyed on AMC as well. So I believe there's 15 of these books in the Chronicles. I apologize if I'm wrong. Don't come at me. I didn't say I was an expert. You had Interview with the Vampire, and that was in 94. And then you had Queen of the Damned, that I believe came out in 2002, with Stuart Townsend as the vampire Lestat, and the beautiful and late Aaliyah was in the film as the Queen of the Damned. And Akasha was her name. Akasha was the mother vampire of everyone. Not a real popular mainstream hit, but again, the goth era, it was popular, and I enjoy it. Every time it's on, I watch it. I believe I was told by someone, and again, don't come after me, the Vampire Lestat, the book The Vampire Lestat and Queen of the Damned were combined to make the film Queen of the Damned, because that's when Lestat went through his I'm a famous rock and roll era. And yes, that does exist. That does exist. I highly recommend watching it. It's really good. So when they announced that Interview with the Vampire was going to be made into a television series in late 2021, early 2020, a lot of people were, okay, how's that going to, okay, how's that? Okay, I can see that. 1790s plantation owner, okay, that's not really going to work in the 21st century. So they changed it up a bit. Let's go through. I'm going to, like I said, this is just a recap of season 1. We're not going to go through every episode. I'm just kind of going to go through everything just a little bit here and there. I don't want to go on too long, which too bad. I have conversation ADD, so it's probably going to go that way anyway. So I'm going to share my screen and kind of go through what we started with and where we've ended up. Let's see here. Let's pull up some of these pictures. Originally, the vampire Louie de Pointe du Lac. I'm severely Southern. It's very hard for me to pronounce certain things. I can't even say Massachusetts, the state that homes Boston, and I'm not going to do it again. I cannot pronounce everything correctly, so please don't come for me for that either. So let's pull up some of these. I love the parallels that they came up with when casting these characters. Some people were pissed. They didn't understand why certain things were a certain way. And let's see. Here we go. Okay. So in the 1994 Interview with the Vampire film, Brad Pitt played Louie. And now we have the very talented Jacob Anderson. I believe came from Game of Thrones. This guy captures the heart of the vampire. It is brought up in the book and in the movie that Louie represents the vampire's broken heart. And to me, this needs to be carried out in every inch of the actor's body, face, the freaking hair on his head and fingernail. I gotta believe it. And I believed it from Brad Pitt and I believed it from Jacob Anderson. And a lot of people were pissed when Jacob was cast because, oh my God, he's not a white guy. If you read the description of Louie in the book, he's not described as a white man. He's of English, Spanish descent. It's not a white guy. So this representation of Louie is actually more accurate than Brad Pitt, to be perfectly honest with you. And beautifully done. I highly, highly, highly recommend just, check out the first episode, if anything, just to check out Jacob Anderson. So this is what we got for Louie. And let's see what else we have here. I have another cast switch up. We will go to, let's see, I'm sorry. I worked really hard on these little slides they put together and not as prepared tonight as I want. My brain's kind of frazzled. I do apologize. And we're going to go to the Lestat casting, which is similar. It was, good casting. It was very similar. Let's see here. We're going to see. I apologize again. Allison, stop apologizing. Okay, here we go. So Sam Reid steps into the part of the vampire Lestat, originally played by Tom Cruise in the 94 film. Anne Rice at first not happy from what I remember of the casting of Tom Cruise as this character, but ended up, signing off on it in the end. She did, but I think, but Sam Reid, my God, just like Jacob Anderson to me is a beautiful human being, and Sam Reid, beautiful human being. These two complement themselves and amazing. And I'm going to bring up another picture of a minute to kind of zero in on that. But Sam Reid, to me, they got it right. They got it right with this casting. They really did. There was something in Tom Cruise's Lestat that, it had that, a little, to me, it was always just a smidge, just a little too much campy, but it worked. Stuart Townsend, Queen of the Damned Lestat. It fit for that era. But there was something missing. And I feel like the puzzle pieces and everything to me came together with the casting of Sam Reid as Lestat in season 1. Everything that this man did, you hate this gaslighting, manipulating narcissist of a vampire. You love him. And that's the mist that you want. He's torturing poor Louie, but you're here for it. You're freaking here for it. And that brings me to this. We bring up that other picture that I've got. Give me just a second. I apologize again with apologizing that I can't seem to stop doing. It's that kind of night, people. So, we've got, this is what happens when I do a show by myself. I'm not organized without Tyler, and it's really showing right now. Let's see here. I know I did a side-by-side of this. I'm going to find it. Is this it? Nope. Okay. I'm just going to bring up this one because literally who gives a shit at this point? Share your fucking screen, Allison. Okay, I'm doing it. Talking to myself. Well, what are you going to do when you're alone? Okay. So, like any of you have ever been completely organized? So this is the comparison that I have, and we'll get to Claudia. That's my next in a second. So obviously there's a difference between the Louies and the Loustat, not really so much. I love it. I think that for this time period, they had to change it up. You always, whenever you adapt a book into a film, into a series, it's never going to be exactly from the page, from the paper to screen. It just is. It's never going to be the same. So you always have to, change it up. There's a lot of time jumping in the book, in the movie, and the series. And you have Louie, who is not a 1790s plantation owner grieving over the death of his, wife and child that died in childbirth. You now have this native early 1910s native Creole, New Orleans, beautiful Louie, who is, spoiler, if you haven't watched it, there is a death, I'll just say that occurs in the show that lures and brings Lestat closer to Louie. In turn, that is Louie becoming a vampire. The difference here between the series and the book and the show, in the movie, is the fact that in the TV show, Lestat gives Louie a choice, but it's very like he tells him he's like, why are you I can take away all your pain. I can do it. God can't do that for you, but I can do it. And it's very tempting, and everything he does, he says and does all the right things, totally freaks out Louie, destroys a church, burns it, kills a minute, it's all sorts of wrong. But Louie makes that decision to be a vampire. And in the book and in the movie, that choice is not given to Louie. That his life is taken from him by Lestat. Lestat didn't have a choice. Why should you? That's also something that comes into play later. So you made the choice. Okay. Also, the casting of Claudia is a little bit different this go around as well. And I'm Bailey Bliss. They brought in as Claudia. This young girl, holy shit. Beautiful. I love it. I don't know. Let's see. trying to share the effing screen again. Sorry. There we go. So again, here we go with people were pissed over Claudia is a young Black woman, and obviously that was not the case. Claudia was also fucking 5 years old in the book. Okay. And she goes from 5 years old in the book to, I believe, 10 or 11-ish in the movie to now a prepubescent teen, right at the cusp of never actually becoming a woman. Either way you shake you dice at it, it's tragic. It doesn't matter. It's fucking tragic. Okay. And here's another thing that I love about AMC. AMC couldn't take the chance, from what I've read, they would not take the chance of bringing Claudia in as a 5-year-old, for obvious reasons, her fate being one of them. And I'm not shocked by this. I'm not shocked that they even made her older, because here we go. I'm sorry. If you know me, you know me. I can tie every scripted show into The Walking Dead, and I'm doing it right now. They couldn't kill a baby. Okay? If you know, you know. They couldn't kill baby Judith in the series, but they could in the comic. They're not going to do anything to a freaking 5-year-old little girl. Okay? They're just not. They're not even going to do anything to it. They're just not. So maybe that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. Also, the casting of Bailey Bliss as Claudia fits the timeline a lot better, because of Louie doing some naughty things to some powerful people, or, may or may not be ripping throats out as a vampire. Violence is brought upon the Black community in New Orleans, and one of the casualties of houses being burned to the ground and people being murdered is Claudia's parents. Her family is murdered, and in the show she is rescued and made into a vampire. So it's kind of Louie's doing that brought that, unlike the breakout of cholera and disease that killed Claudia's family in the book and in the movie. This is Louie's kind of responsible in a way, and that does come into play later on in the show. So with that being said, let's see here. I don't really want to get into too much of the difference between the book and the movie and the show. The show is its own thing. It really, really is. It kind of, let me get rid of this real quick. I am going to change the lighting because I look freaking dead. So excuse me. Which is the point, right? I need to look dead. I need to look gothic, but this is a much. This is a smidge. Much. See here. Okay. Is that better? Good. Again, I see glitter everywhere. This show, from the very beginning, again, I got to go into the movie when I said I wouldn't do that. I mean, a lot of people don't know, and some people who do know, Interview with the Vampire starts out as it is an interview with the vampire. A young man named Daniel Malloy is interviewing a vampire named Lestat, who tells his story. And in the beginning, he's a young man and he's thirsty for this story. He's a bit of a pill pot. He's on drugs. He's an alcoholic. He's not all there. And, they originally cast in the film River Phoenix, God bless his soul, the young, great, oh my God, River Phoenix. My God, I could go on all day about River Phoenix. Freaking amazing. Unfortunately, died when production started on Interview with the Vampire. I believe they shot just a little bit with him. That's never been released. and he was replaced with Christian Slater, who donated his entire salary to one of River Phoenix's charities. So, because he didn't feel right benefiting from his death. And, he died on the street in front of the Viper Room, Johnny Depp's club. It's sad, anyway. So the recasting is what I'm getting at, people. That's where I'm going with this. Again, we've kind of stuck to the character, but the character is a little bit older. And I'm going to, let's see, bring that up here in a second. There we go. Couldn't have made these a little bit bigger, Allison. No, why? That would make sense. When have I ever done? Oh, here's the freaking picture I was looking for earlier, damn it. I'll just leave that up and we'll come up. I worked really hard on these little slides. I really did. I couldn't be organized if I was yeah. Where is it? Man, I've got so many damn good pictures I need to just here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to bring all of them up and we'll just go through them as we do. I told you I have conversation ADD, so you're just going to have to deal with me. Because I wanted to go through the characters, like who originated them and all that stuff. No, I don't need that one. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm drenched in professionalism this evening, as you can see. My mind is somewhere else. God, I keep clicking on the same damn picture I was looking for earlier. Thank Christ. Here we go. Sorry, Jesus. So here we go. Okay. So originally, Daniel Malloy is a young man, journalist, all of that, portrayed by Christian Slater. And when we get into the show Interview with the Vampire, Daniel Malloy is no longer a young man. He is now an older gentleman. He's actually suffering from Parkinson's. He is this is kind of where it's kind of like a re-interviewing of the vampire, because they do address the original interview, which in this universe, the new universe, we'll call it the Immortal Universe. In the Immortal Universe, that took place in the 70s. And he did interview Louie, and they were in San Francisco. Now they're in freaking Dubai. And Malloy did say, I want to be a vampire. I want to see what you see. I want to experience what you experience. And it was a violent exchange. And it ended abruptly. Literally the interview was never finished. And this guy is stuck in life with all of these tapes of this interview with this vampire. He literally, what the fuck am I going to do with all this? So if you follow the books, I do believe, spoiler alert, he does become a vampire in the older universe. I believe in Queen of the Damned, he is turned into a vampire in the book. So that's a thing. But not now, not in the Immortal Universe. He's suffering from Parkinson's. Louie wants to make amends. He wants to reopen the casket, no pun intended, and fly Malloy to Dubai. And let's do this again. Let's interview again. And it seems like as the show progresses, he's adding to the stories. He's filling in puzzle pieces, I guess. He's reliving the things that happened, but he left out things before. Now he's just an open book. He's like, look, I'm going to tell you everything. This is it. He even goes as far as to give Malloy Claudia's journals. And in the Immortal Universe, she has this journal and she writes about her adventures. In the Immortal Universe, Claudia actually gets pissed and leaves. Like after a freaking, a century of this, like, I got to get away from you two. Like, I'm done with this. No, this isn't happening. And so she leaves. She ventures out. She finds other vampires. Sadly, she encounters a vampire that abuses her for many years and that leads up to a sexual assault. It's sad. And she ends up coming back. And even in this time, she can't convince Louie to leave Lestat, which eventually happens, but it's still pushing that envelope. But in this time in the immortal universe, it is revealed that he has Parkinson's, Malloy does, and Lestat offers to help him, give him medical treatment. Like, he's like, look, you're going to be here. Let's do transfuse. I can help you. Like, what can I do? And he's very resistant at first, but then he agrees. So he ends up taking the medication and doing all this while he's being interviewed. And it worked out. It worked out really well. The relationship, let's see here. There's a new character that is introduced. If you're familiar, you know where I'm about to go. Anyway, I want to share this damn picture. I just love this picture so much. And I'm going to share it real quick because it's a nice picture. And I took the time to do my little trickery on it to share it. I love this picture. This is in the series, in the immortal universe. This is when Lestat has turned Louie. Okay. And they are walking the streets of New Orleans for the first time. And this is the thing, like, all the vampires have special talents. Okay. Like, Lestat can get in your head and talk to you and read your mind, do all these things. And Louie has his talent, but I'll let you find out what that is in the show. And he really is getting into it and finding his groove. And he has his first taste of human blood that night. And it's great. It's a great sequence. The whole thing just kind of works out. But also in that time, this is where you see Louie kind of go, man, I can't freaking torture people, dude, because Lestat is all into, I got to make a theatrical show out of this. I'm from the theater. Everything's a show, a presentation. Even eating your food is a presentation. And that's the line that kind of Louie's drawing here in the sand. And it progresses as time goes on. And it does become a major problem in the relationship. So let's move on to the stuff that I have pulled up. And let's see. Okay, I'm going to minimize that. I apologize. This would be a good time to take a pee break or just stop listening altogether if you're done with me. Because that's what I'm done with you too. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to get into some spoilery stuff. So, haven't watched the show. I'll just put it to you like this. These two guys meet. One's a vampire, one's not. He turns the guy into a vampire because his life's falling apart. He's long suffering. He doesn't fucking know what to do with himself. And they spend centuries and decades, all of this. Finally, Lestat just, sees how lonely Louie is and he needs something to take care of. He needs like a pet. So he gets him a little girl. And the little girl becomes like their daughter. And it's like my two dads with a daughter. And they raise her, and she's like this cute little vampire at first, and then like she's like prepubescent, and she's this 38-year-old woman stuck in a little girl's body, and she's freaking over it. She's like, I'm frozen in time. You assholes get to go out and do whatever you want. I can't, because I'm like freaking 14. Where's the fun in that? I can't do anything. Like, and she's very irresponsible with her killing at first. Like, she's just killing, and she's just leaving the bodies around it. Like, it's gross. They have to like put the bodies in an incinerator, and it's a thing. And it's like cleaning up after your freaking dirty teenager. It's like, you're so freaking messy. God, Claudia, you're messy. Lestat is freaking done. And she actually, they address self-harm, vampire self-harm. Claudia is so over it. She's sneaking out in the morning and she's burning herself with sunlight. she's done. Like she can't live like this anymore. And she almost gets away. She leaves. She's had enough. She leaves. I think she tries to, one time she tries to escape and Lestat catches her and he's like, no, it ain't happening, sister. You back over here, honey, you're coming home. This isn't, just stop. You don't know what's out there. I do. You don't know what's out there. But she does end up leaving, like I said, and she travels. She does find out there's other vampires. She gets some answers and more questions, and she ends up with this guy, this vampire that ends up abusing her, and it really fucks with her head, and she comes home and they welcome her home, and Louie and Lestat end up having this huge fight over it, and Lestat beats the shit out of Louie, chokes him, takes him up in the air, and freaking drops the guy and leaves. Like it's domestic violence. It is. In fact, these vampires can just do as much fucking damage as we humans can do. We self-harm, they beat each other, they do all this stuff. They drain each other, and he leaves, and then he ends up coming back later. And Claudia hatches this plan. We're going to get rid of Lestat. Okay, we're traveling, dude. The only way to break free from this guy is to get rid of him. That's it. We can't do this. Do you understand what I'm saying? You try to leave, beat the shit out of you. I tried to leave. He brought me back. And I literally, it's insane. He's got his claws in us. It's okay for Lestat to go off and have a girlfriend on the side. But he scoffs at Louie visiting old lovers. He's, a black gay man in New Orleans in the early 20th century. It's hard. It's not it's terrible. You don't need this little white Southern girl to tell you anything. I'm just telling you. Also, one thing that I kind of want to bring up is they gloss over this big time in the film. I don't know if there was something in the contract with Tom and Brad. I don't know. You see it more between Antonio Banderas and Brad Pitt as the exchange between Louie and Armand later in the film. But they really gloss over the relationship between Lestat and Louie. This was a real relationship. Lestat and Louie came together. There was this love. They cared about it. They couldn't get enough of each other. There is a love scene between these two men that to me is beautiful. It really is beautiful. And I loved it. And I don't care. If you're not into it, don't watch it. Because I don't want you watching it and then taking verbal shit all over it. It's a love story. Okay, at one point. I don't care. I don't see gender when it comes to love and love stories. So, whatever. So it is, in fact, a beautiful love story at some point that it deteriorates. And in the end, it's kind of like that Dateline Snapped episode. You know what I'm saying? Like the only way I could break free from this guy was to get rid of him. He's abusive. He tried to kill me. He's god awful. We got to get rid of him. So they hatch this plan. They go to this big dress up thing, and they end up they massacre everyone in the place. Okay, it's a massacre, and they save one of them specifically for Lestat, and he's been poisoned. And you'll see how. I'm not going to go into detail. Y'all watch it. And supposedly kills Loustat or silences him to where they can get away. We all know how that ends. We all know. And they get away and they go free. And they're on their way to Europe because Claudia has got a big bug up her ass about Paris. And she won't let it die. She won't leave it alone. Like, we got to go to Paris. I don't care. We're going to Paris. So they end up going to Paris, and that is where we find ourselves in the beginning of season 2. Now I'm going to get to some spoilers. I know I've said that 88 times. Well, now I really mean it. So when you're watching season 1, there is a mysterious character that shows up, and you're kind of like, who is this guy? Is this, he's feeding on, Louie's feeding on him quite a bit. And is this his partner? Is this guy a vamp? Like, he's in the sunlight. I mean, he's like, what is going on here? Like, he's not, nothing bad. Yeah. Is this his person? Is this his new partner? Who is, he's not a vampire. Vampires have evolved, I guess. So you're going to see some of that in the show as well. So let me bring this up. Like, again, I said, share my screen. This is a spoiler. I believe his name was Rashad, and I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. So we end up finding out that Rashad is actually Armand. And oh, I gotta turn this lighting down. Oh my God. A guy that's been helping Malloy and being there for Louie and all this, and kind of like when Louie gets upset, that's enough. Be quiet. It's time to go, or it's time to wrap it up. There was even the diaries, the journals that belonged to Claudia. There were pages missing. There were pages ripped out. And Malloy will question that. And Lestat isn't talking. And Rashad / Armand really isn't letting him talk. So we find out in the big reveal in the season finale of season 1 that, Rashad is Armand. Now, originally, if you're looking instead of listening, Antonio Banderas portrayed Armand. And this was a twist I did not see coming in the show. There is an exchange in the film between Armand and Louie that just the touching, the feeling, the touching of the face, there is a love. There is something, not a love, but like an infatuation, something there. To me, Armand and Lestat are really not that different. There is an abuse, a mental abuse going on here. I'm just going to say it. It's written all over Louie's face. As you're watching, it's like Louie just keeps bouncing to these abusive guys. It's crazy. Well, we all have a pattern. Everybody's got a type. So Lestat, if you watch the series, starts out confident, talking about everything. And then when it gets to certain subject matters like Claudia, you notice this eye contact that is between Rashad / Armand and Louie. And you really don't think about that until the twist is revealed. And I guarantee I did a complete rewatch of season 1 after that, back to back, after watching the first season, because you're going to pick up on that. You are going to watch Rashad like a hawk, and you're going to notice certain things. Trust me, you're going to see it. And to me, it's sad. It's like Lestat was truly happy when he was with Claudia and they were running around in the world. And he just keeps finding himself in these relationships. And Armand, in turn, is responsible for the death of Claudia, at least in the book or the film. So it kind of makes you wonder, where this is going. Like, how did this come about? Because in, all the time jumping that goes on in the 70s interview with Malloy and Louie, when they meet in the bar, Rashad is there. So we're going on 2022 is the time frame that this show takes place, and in 1970 or whatever. I was like, 50 years almost. So something's happened. Yeah. So we got that. Screen. Very interesting. we do have a little bit of a shakeup. We have a little bit of a recasting, which I couldn't believe at the time because I thought, and I'm going to bring the new Claudia. There is a new Claudia. I can't wait to see what she brings to the table. Let's see, interview with the vampire. Yeah. They had to recast. Bailey Bliss will not be in season 2. And I'm trying to find a picture. I couldn't believe it. I was in deep denial. I'm not going to lie at first because I love Bailey Bliss so much. She is drop dead freaking gorgeous. I loved her Claudia. I really did. And I'm like, what the, like, no, why? So let me bring up the difference. So they've replaced her with a young lady named Delaney Haley. No, I'm sorry, Delaney Hales? I'm Southern. Don't expect me to pronounce things correctly. Let's see here. Let's share this screen. We're almost done, people. Just sit tight. Like you have anything else better to do tonight. Please. I don't either. So yeah, I can say that. Window. Entire screen. Where is it? Oh, I have to make it separate. Ugh, I hate it when Tyler's not here and can't do this for me. Okay. Okay, so this is the recasting. Bailey Bliss on the left, Delaney Haley on the right. I found out about it on Instagram because I follow Bailey Bliss. She's beautiful. If you don't know, she's in the new Avatar films. She's really a shooting star, is just amazing. And they were blessed. I think to get her when they did is a blessing. And now we have the beautiful Delaney Haley. And I'm not really surprised. Let's see here. She's real excited. She can't wait to do it. The evolution of the character as they go to France. Yes. And here's the thing. I'm not really shocked. I mean, even if they never really gave a reason for the recasting of Claudia, maybe some schedule, whatever. If you know the reason, tell me, please. I would love to know. But when you're dealing with children or young kids, this is something Stranger Things. Jesus, don't even get me started on that shit. But she's 14, and it is possible for a young lady to age out of a 14-year-old role as you get older, and plus it's 2 years in between filming. She's going to look more womanly. She's going to have more of a figure. And yeah, you can bandage things down and change things up a bit, but it's not uncommon to recast younger characters. She's a vampire. Our time does not stop out here in our universe. So it's going to happen every once in a while, but I would kind of like to know why they did do that. So, and like I could go on all day, like Stranger Things, season 5, the final season, split into 2. It's like 2025. It's been like 4 years. I don't even know. I can't even keep up. I'm tired of having to rewatch 4 freaking seasons to catch up. It's just like I have to refamiliarize. I don't mind watching season 2 because of Billy. I could probably tell you a lot about season 2, frame by frame. Just saying, if you know. So those kids obviously have aged out, and they keep having to do these gigantic time jumps because these kids are not 11 anymore. They're like, one of them's freaking about to get married. Like, it's crazy. It's craziness. So yeah, it's not uncommon to, change out characters as they age up a little bit. But yeah, so I don't think I've really helped the cause for you to watch Interview with the Vampire, but I really think you should. I kind of thought it was fun to revisit some of the tidbits that Armand the vampire. The closest accurate casting of the vampire Armand is in the film Queen of the Damned. If you watch this film at the end, all these group of vampires come together, and one of them is this kind of spiral, curly-haired, strawberry blonde guy, male vampire, and he's got blue eyes, and he's white. Is Armand? That's how he's described. They changed it up. Personally, I love the Antonio Banderas Armand. Personally, I think they could have got a better wig, but it worked for me. Let's just be honest. That movie works for a lot of women. Okay, it's timeless. Let's just be honest, ladies. These guys aged well. Okay? Even Tom Cruise. They all aged well. Even Christian Slater. Dude, let's bring them up and talk about it. We got time. What else are we doing? Nothing. That's a timeless movie. I never get tired of watching the film. I don't get tired of watching the series. I have it on in the background sometimes when I'm just doing stuff. It's just, I love it. I love the time. I love the clothes, the era, all of it. It's great. I think it's good. And if some people aren't comfortable with homosexual lovemaking, look, it's painless. It's not that bad. If you can take off your blinders and see the whole love story and everything beautiful that's going on, it won't bother you as much. Okay? You'll see what's happening, and it's not two dudes bumping dicks, touching tips. Okay? It's two men in love making love to each other. Okay? I said what I said. That's what it is. So anyway, before we go, let's take a look. Let's go down memory lane. Why not? What are we doing? What are we doing on a Saturday night? Nothing. Okay. So we'll get to it right now. Let's talk about these guys. The casting of Tom Cruise. And again, I'm Southern and I can't pronounce regular words. So don't come at me for my mispronunciation now. Lestat de Lioncourt. Lestat de Lioncourt. Played by Tom Cruise. Pre-braces, by the way. Tom Cruise got braces, clear braces later in life because he had 3 front teeth. Fun fact, but you didn't know that. You will never look at another 80s and 90s and early 2000 Tom Cruise film the same again. Do you want to know why? Because you're going to be looking at his damn teeth. It worked for me. He still looks good, but I didn't even notice until he pointed out with the braces on Oprah. Anyway, this is the old school Lestat. Tom Cruise, aged well, looks good. Guy's on his 58th Mission freaking Impossible. I mean, come on. Not a good Jack Reacher casting choice, in my opinion. Tom Cruise got a lot of layers. I'm dying to see Tom Cruise be a complete effing a-hole in a movie. I'm waiting for that. If you've ever seen Tropic Thunder, he played the manager from hell. It was awesome. Jerry Maguire, I loved him. That is probably my all-time favorite Tom Cruise movie. That character, that movie was so dead. I loved it. Great. And Magnolia, he did really good in Magnolia. Yeah. Check that out. Check out that gem. So anyway, I'm still waiting for that film to come out. Maybe I need to write it. Tom, I'm going to write something for you. We'll see. Because I have written a film and it's been made. It was a short film called Uncertain Saunter on My Weekly Meltdown. You can look it up. Anyway, just a little shameless plug there. And now that I got all these little tiles down, easy access for Allison. Where are you? Are you freaking kidding me? Did I not bring that one up? I can't believe it. We'll just do this one for now. Okay. I can't make these in the slides. Either way, we wouldn't be wasting time with me sharing the dadgum screen. Her. I love me some Antonio Banderas, y'all. I do. I do. This was the first time I'd really seen him. I was 17 when this film came out. And I'm like, whoa, who is this beautiful? What is the speak to me? Say something with that. Ooh, yes, more please. I love it. My first experience, with a man with an act is just lovely. Lovely. I don't care. This man could burn me alive. I don't give a shit. Bite the hell. I don't care. Beautiful young man. Beautiful. Beautiful. He's aged well. He's aged well too. The funny thing is, a lot of these guys are not that much older than me. I'm freaking 47. Okay, Tom Cruise is 15 years older than me. That is really not that much older. And Brad Pitt is like 13 years older than me. And I think Antonio Banderas is actually 20 years older than me. I'm not quite sure. But, whatever. Aged well. These guys have aged well. Maybe they are vampires. Maybe they all passed around a vial of something like in The Lost Boys, and it was David's blood, and they're all like ageless now. Who knows? That sounded a lot better in my head than out loud. So anyway, next up we have Claudia. Let's bring up Claudia. I'm going to share Claudia. Kirsten Dunst. There you go. Look at that. Original Claudia. Little Kirsten Dunst. Yeah, I grew up to do Bring It On. You know what? She's in a really good movie right now called Civil War. I think you should check that out. Look it up. Look the trailer up on YouTube. Her husband is in it with her. Anyway. But yeah, this was like, can you imagine being Kirsten Dunst on the set of Interview with the Vampire? Like, dude, what was she, like 10? She was a baby. She is surrounded by Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Antonio Banderas. Hello. I would be dying. I would have been like 16 when they made this movie. Oh my God. There'd been a restraining order. Seriously. Just God. What a great movie. That would have been an amazing experience. And Christian Slater, we shouldn't have any scenes with Christian. Oh, well. But he was in it anyway. Because Christian Slater has aged well, too. We're going to go and we're going to address that one. I love me some Christian Slater. Who hasn't seen Gleaming the Cube and the Legend of Billie Jean? He's also in that opiate show on, I think it's Hulu or it's Peacock. No, it was Dr. Death, season 1 with Joshua Jackson. Dude had me cry. Oh my God. It wasn't funny, but he made it funny. He was really good. I love Christian Slater when he's funny. He was also in Dirty Betty on FX. The Betty Broderick story. Look that bitch up. That is something worth looking up. He played the husband that she murdered. And FX made it into a series like they do, like the American not an American Horror Story, but like American, whatever. He does whatever his name is, does all those shows. Anyway, so Christian Slater originated the role of, well, actually River Phoenix did, if we want to be too nitpicky, but he came in and replaced River Phoenix as Daniel Malloy and aged very well. He's in a show right now called Spiderwebs or something on Disney. I don't know. He was in Mr. Robot. He was in the first season of that doctor show where the doctor, isn't really a doctor. But yeah, he was a real big heartthrob when I was a kid. Gleaming the Cube, The Legend of Billie Jean, Heathers. You cannot have Christian Slater on your screen and not mention Heathers. You can't. You can't. Original 1988 film with Winona Ryder, Shannon Doherty, pre-90210. What a creepy. That movie was actually on. I was recovering from my nose surgery late one night. I'm just like flipping, and there's Heathers, and I'm like, I'm committed. I have to watch. That's one of those late night movies that you're just gonna watch, and it's great. But I love Christian Slater. He's actually really funny. If you've ever seen him interview, like I love him. I love him. Why not? Let's see here. Look, I could go on these guys' acting catalogs all freaking night long, but we don't have that kind of time. Actually, we do. Let's just be honest. I'm just lazy. Let's see here. Where are you? Finally. Jeez. I actually had some pictures of some of the people from season 2. But I don't want to like get too spoilery, so we'll save that for when we're recapping season 2. But yes, there will be more slides. Taylor, my co-host, is cringe right now from Allison's frame-tastic work. Brad Pitt. I don't care. I don't care what you say. I don't care. Angelina Jolie, I don't care. Brad Pitt, Louie de Pointe du Lac. I can't say it, I'm Southern. Pointe du Lac. Louis de Pointe du Lac. Louis de Pointe du Lac. Right? Right, Jojo? Come here, Jojo. You help me out? Can you help me out at the end here, little buddy? So Brad Pitt originated the role of Louie. And this was kind of on the heels of a lot of I think he was actually dating, fun fact, Juliette Lewis, who is a 90s gem, by the way. If you aren't watching Yellow Jackets, what are you doing with your spare time on just watch it. If you have Paramount Plus, you have Showtime, watch it. What'll kill you? If you're a Gen Xer, dude, you're all into it. So Brad Pitt, fresh off of, you got to think about it, Thelma and Louise, California with a K, which is a great movie. He co-stars with Juliette Lewis in. This actually came out before we were introduced to Tristan and Legends of the Fall. I could do a whole show on Legends of the Fall. I have seen Legends of the Fall 927 times in 29 years. That's probably a generous number. That's probably low, to be honest with you. Wow, what a great movie. And I don't care what anyone says. The guy's sober now. He's cleaned up. Won an Oscar for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. On the roof of Leonardo DiCaprio's house, fixing his TV antenna, shirtless, with a beer in his tool belt. I've never wanted to be a tool belt or a beer can this much in my entire life. That movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is another one of those that I have on in the background. I love Brad Pitt in this movie. I also love Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That was the best pairing I've seen in a long time. And the way Leonardo... I've met some method actors, okay? And it's not a method, it's a process. Shut up. Let me tell you something. One word. It could be 2, if you want to nitpick. Flamethrower. That's all I'm going to say. And you know, if you know, you know. At the end of the movie, just watch the movie. Flamethrower. Okay? Anyway, this is kind of, they all have aged well because they passed around David's blood from the Lost Boys. And that's how they all, freaking drank from that fountain. They drank that blood, and that's where we are. You know what I want? First of all, fun fact, The Lost Boys was the first rated R movie I ever saw in a movie theater at 10 years old. And I was a big hamster. Okay, you had the two Coreys, Feldman and Haim, and I was a very loyal Corey Haim follower. We were hamsters. Okay, that's what we were called. We were hamsters, like hamsters, but with an I. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to see it. And then I saw it, and I was introduced to a young Kiefer Sutherland, and I was introduced to a young Jason Patrick, and the other guys. Freaking Bill from Bill and Ted is hot. Anyway, great movie. I want a prequel. I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm going to throw it out. Let's talk about vampire movies for a minute. Why not? Why can't we have, you want some of my hair on your head? You want some, let's put some blonde on you. I mean, you kitty cat. Look at Jojo. Look at Jojo's hair. He looks like Trump with a comb over. Anyway, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. He's getting neutered on Monday, so he's a little sensitive right now. I'd like a prequel to The Lost Boys. I would like to see how David and them came together. I'd like to see how the head vampire dude came into fruition. I want to see Santa Carla in its heyday. And I want to see Grandpa. I want to see a young Grandpa. I'm dying for it. Give it to me. Do I have to write it? I'll cast it right now. Let's go. And my mind just went blank if it would cast. But anyway, so season 2, if you have Amazon Plus, you can watch the premiere episode and all the episodes of Interview with the Vampire season 2 early in the morning on Sunday. When Amazon Plus very first came out, and this was the reason why I subscribed to it, you got the episodes a week early. Like I literally, the premiere of Interview with the Vampire, I got it a week early. When everyone was watching episode 1 in real time, Allison's watching episode 2. Okay? They don't do that anymore. And I'm not happy about it. I don't know why they did that. I think some people in the Walking Dead world got pissed off. I'm like, really? If you are not disappointed to the point where you're in therapy talking to, like, The Walking Dead doesn't come up in your therapy and you're still watching it at that point, give me a break. Come on. I was supposed to do coverage of the ones who live. I'm still going to do it. But I'm having issues. I'm triggered by some stuff. Sometimes people like me are just too nitpicky. I don't know. Anyway, so Interview with the Vampire, you can watch on demand all the episodes, season 1, right now. Watch it tomorrow. What are you doing tomorrow? It's Sunday. I know y'all ain't going to church. I see you. You know who I'm talking about. Look at this little nut. You better get down. Oh, Lord, I know y'all ain't going to church. It's okay. Jesus still loves you, and I love you too. It's okay. So, yeah, I would do that. Someone had asked me, had I ever read any of the Vampire Chronicles? I actually read Interview with the Vampire when I was 15. I read Queen of the Damned and the Vampire Lestat, all 3 by the time I was 16. And I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. Not a lot of diversity in my high school or middle school or elementary school or any school during that time period. And I did not know any gay men. I didn't know any gay people. I had no gay friends at the time. I didn't know anything. I was raised by a hippie. So I loved everybody, no matter what you look like. So when I'm reading Interview with the Vampire for the first time as a 15-year-old girl, I had to stop a couple of times, but because I didn't judge people that way, I just didn't see that. I just wasn't raised. I just didn't see that It didn't bother me. And I don't want to hear, well, because it was man on man. No, it doesn't matter. I can read both. It doesn't bother me. So, I just saw it as a love story that that ended up being a toxic relationship. So, take your blinders off, give it a chance. It's a fun watch. I really love it. I love what they have done with the story. I was really confused at first of how they were going to change it up, and I get how they did it. It fits the timeline. It fits where we are now in the Immortal universe. It fits, it was kind of like under wraps that the interviewer, the journalist, was Daniel Malloy. Like, I didn't realize that until I watched it. I was like, oh, dude, that's the guy. Whoa. So it was kind of like, okay, we're redoing this. And it prepared you for things that are going to change. And it's a good change. When they reboot, redo, whatever. Change isn't good all the time. So, but this time it is. And I co-sign it. I love it. I can't wait. I actually forgot I had these. Louie wears these. Not these. This is the closest I could get. But he wears colored sunglasses in the TV show. And they look really good. And so I thought I would pay homage to him and wear mine for a minute. And, just doesn't work. But anyway, whatever. His are like pink. And some say, I have pink. But they don't look like this when I'm on camera. So I got to wear the blue. Also, I'd like to say that I got these on Amazon for $11.99, which my husband is saying, please send back. But I'm not. Anyway, that's it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I love movies. I love TV shows. I love sharing experiences with people who will take the time to listen. Oh, thank you, Lori. Oh my God, I have a comment. Hi, Lori, how are you doing? And thank you. Thank you. Thank you for everyone that's watching. I love this. I love doing this. And remember, it's part of the Allison universe of the real REEL meltdown universe that Allison is going to tap back into. I had to have a surgery, and took me off air and doing my solo stuff. I wasn't confident, but I'm getting the confidence back. Thank you, Lori. Fun show. Thank you. Thank you. For those of you who don't know, I used to do this by myself in the beginning. I used to do my weekly meltdown alone with the worst jump cuts you've ever seen in your life. I had a clicker. Is, if you know, I had to click, I still have it. I still have a clicker. I had to break it out sometime. I have the clicker. Yeah, I used to do this by myself. And then 6 years ago, Tyler came into my life along with Deb and Phelan. And they were like, let's do live shows. And I was like, shit, I got to do something. So 9 years of my weekly meltdown. 9 years in August. So Survivor coverage. This we do Survivor coverage Thursdays at 7/6 Central if you're new to the program. Also subscribe to this channel so you get notifications when we go live. Also become a patron because we cover Big Brother. It's patreon.com/myweeklymeltdown. I watch Big Brother live. The eviction episodes I watch live. And I bring you in. I give you a link. You come in. We watch it together. And I make my smart-ass funny comments. They're not funny, but I think they are. During commercial breaks, and it's fun. And we're going to do it again this year. I can't wait. So sign up for that. We do some brain stills or whatever, Brant stills, whatever. We do a lot of fun stuff. So come join the team. It's a lot of fun. And Big Brother does start up, I think, July 17th. So we'll be doing those updates. Survivor will be ending here in a couple of weeks, so that won't be going on. And that'll give us time to do more shows, more BS breakdowns. And I'm going to be I'm actually going to be doing a special show about the Planet of the Apes franchise. I'm going to start with the 2011 Rise of the Planet of the Apes, the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and War of the Planet of the Apes. And tomorrow for Mother's Day, we're going to see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. So please look out for that show coming up here shortly, hopefully next week. And I'm going to talk about the evolution because when I was a little girl growing up, those films, the original Planet of the Apes, it was on heavy rotation on TBS on Saturday and Sunday afternoon. And little Allison was obsessed with Planet of the Apes. Obsessed. And I'm all about the new films. I'm all about them. I love them. I think they're great. Anyway, guys, for the 5th time, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Please follow. We love you. We appreciate you. Everything you do. Join us. I'll see you later. Again, thank you for watching. This is it. I'm turning it off now. That's it. Bye-bye.